Hey everyone, it is Phalon with another video, and this is going to be a little bit different. This is not going to exactly be about the fandom positivity series I am doing, but this is to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. As you can see all over, it has really, the conversation about a Buffy reboot has been resurrected. And there's a lot of talk about what this show is going to be about. Is it going to be a true reboot with a black version of Buffy, a Hispanic version, an Asian? The show supposedly is going to be rebooting, but, and this is the big but, there is also talk about that this is going to be something a little bit different. But before we get into all this, please be sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe to get notified for all my videos. Just make sure you click that bell. So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I am a longtime fan of it. I won't say I'm the biggest buff on it, so to speak, but I do love the show. Though, I'll admit it, I was more of an Angel fangirl. I blame season 3. That's when I really got into it as far as Buffy goes. And you know what? Honestly, I had this discussion on ETEP's live stream where we were talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I brought up about one of these articles I had found where it talks about, no, they're not going to be rebooting it. It's more like going to be an alternate universe, but it deals with a specific Slayer. And there is so much they can do with that. If they want to stick with the every generation, there's a Slayer, she will fight the vampires, demons, monsters. I'm sure there are plenty of people that know the intro so much better than I. But yeah, it's like, if they want to go with just that, oh, there is so much they could do with that. And Buffy and everyone could still exist, but they would have to do it in a sort of alternate universe timeline where Buffy was never resurrected, and so the story continues on afterwards. Like, it could take place, say, recently Faith was killed in prison. She never left prison, so there was no vampire slayer out there doing the fight that was required. But now, new Slayer, the Watchers Council still standing because it didn't get it made explodey. But yeah, it's like, I think there's a lot they could do here that I might be more willing to watch as long as they don't reboot it, because we don't need a reboot. There is so much lore that they could work with. Heck, they could even go in the Wish universe. And for those of y'all that are not hardcore fans, you probably don't know what the Wish universe is. Back in season 3 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Cordelia made a wish that Buffy never came to Sunnydale. She went to, I believe, Ohio. There was a Hellmouth there, and Buffy was dealing with the things there, but she had to come here after Cordelia got killed. Giles had to destroy the amulet that Anya wore. That was the source of her power, and it was a great storyline. All the main characters, except for, I think, Giles, were killed. Vampire Willow. Yes, Willow. Well, I'm sure if you watch season 3 or have vague remembrance, there was Vamp Willow, Vampire Xander, Angel. Angel was killed a long time ago. The Master reigns supreme. He's at full power. Has literally turned the Hellmouth into hell, and all that jazz. And I'm like, that would be a perfect place to set up a new Slayer. And you could always see if you could convince Anthony Stewart Head to make some guest appearances as Giles, who has been the only force of good in Sunnydale in that timeline. But like I said, there's other ways they can do this. They could go with the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie sort of thing, where each Slayer is reincarnated. And so it could be like the Buffy and Pike, yes, there was a Pike. Pike was like a mixture of Spike and Xander. I loved it. It was a great show. They both could be gone. And new incarnation. It could be anyone, everyone. It doesn't matter. It wouldn't be quote-unquote Buffy, but the Slayer might have some visions of Buffy's life, which could give like flashbacks to the movie. But the vampires were kind of ridiculous, and it was more of a comedy parody. But hey, that could be an avenue they could take. But like I said, there are so many avenues, and I really hope they do not go with a reboot and just try to redo Buffy the Vampire Slayer plot points, but with a quote-unquote diverse cast, because it doesn't really matter on that stuff. Just leave Buffy alone. Bring in new vampire. I still say Wish is the best way to go with it, because it still fits in with that Buffy the Vampire Slayer lore, but a much darker time and place, and they can work with that. About see if you can bring in the actor that played the Master, and that could be the enemy that this new Slayer has to face, and gets help from maybe some familiar faces. I don't know. That way it knocks out Angel, though. Then you have the question of the Shanshu prophecy, so probably really not a great idea. But I would love to hear from y'all. What do y'all think? Do you think this reboot is a great idea? A bad idea? I'd love to hear from y'all. And what do you think would be the best way to introduce a new vampire slayer that they could have? And this show could be called The Slayer. And it would allow them to switch out actresses at some point if they wanted to leave the show and they wanted to have the show some kind of longevity. Because, well, once one girl dies, a new one is awoken, more or less. But yeah, I'd love to hear from y'all down below in the comment section. And as always, I will catch y'all on the flip side.